We must understand this. Engineering means essentially to make things happen the way we want it. That's engineering, isn't it? To engineer this building means what? We want it the way we want it. We could have sat under a tree, but we choose to build this building because we want to sit under something engineered the way we want it, as suitable for us. We air conditioned the place because we want the temperature in a certain way. All this we did, but is it not important that you engineer this the way you want it? In the last 150 years, with the advent of science and technology, we have more comforts and conveniences than any generation ever could imagine, isn't it? Yes or no? You have more comforts and conveniences than any generation could ever imagine. We are the most comfortable generation ever, physically, materially. But can you say, are you the most peaceful generation? Joyful? Loving? No. Or can you even say you're the most intelligent generation? That'll be a wrong thing to say. Anybody who claims he is intelligent amounts to foolishness, isn't it? Because the significance of intelligence is, it shows you how many loopholes are there in your intelligence. Only a fool thinks there are no loopholes. A truly intelligent person always sees how many loopholes in my intelligence. The significance of being in a technological institute is not about just getting qualified to get some job somewhere or a passport out of the country. It should become a way of creating life, making life happen better than the way it's happening right now, because this is a fundamental responsibility that we have as a generation of people, because we occupy this space on the planet for a short, brief time. When the last generation gave this planet to us, whichever way they gave it, it's our business that when we leave it little better than the way we had it. Very important. How better? In what way better? You can decide that. I won't say only ecologically better, but in every way better. It must be better than the way we got it. This means we have to engineer ourselves to fit in such a way. See, a well-engineered machine means least amount of friction, isn't it so? Yes? A well-engineered machine means what? Least amount of friction. Heavy friction means badly engineered, isn't it? Isn't that the understanding? So the fundamentals of yoga is this. The fundamentals of yoga is in the geometry of physical existence. If you understand the geometry of what this human mechanism is, the body is, the psychological structure is, the chemical processes are, the energy structures are, if you understand the geometry of this and become capable of observing the cosmic geometry, if these two things are well aligned, suddenly your life hits off like a magic. Your life is no more a miserable drag, but it's magical simply because you have gotten the right geometry of things. Anything that is geometrically perfect will function absolutely smoothly and for a very long time. This is something that you must do to yourself when you're young. It doesn't matter what you want to do in your life. One thing must happen, your body and your brain should not come in your way. They must work for you. Yes or no?
Everything that ever happened to you, you experienced right within you. All human experience is 100% self-created. The whole experience is contained within.
Never your body and your mind should not come in the way of who you want to be. Right now for most people, they themselves are a big issue. When you are an issue, how will you address the issues in the world? If you really want to address the issues in the world, this one should never be an issue, isn't it? I am not the issue here, I am never the problem. If there are problems, I will deal with it, but I am never the problem. This must happen to you, isn't it? Please make yourself like this, that you are never the problem. You're always a part of the solution, never a part of the problem. Right now we have developed a certain attitude in the country, a whole lot of people, for every solution they invent a problem. For every solution they have found a problem. So there are people who are working for problems, there are people who are working for solutions. Young people should stand up and become a solution for future generations to come and your own life to blossom. Because the greatest fulfillment in one's life is that you function in such a way that you could do something which is much larger than yourself. This must happen. This is the highest fulfillment of activity, that you are able to do something which is larger than yourself. Only then you will see fulfillment in activity. Activity is one thing, but most important thing is how you are. When you're alone, if you're miserable, you're obviously in bad company, isn't it? Just come spend some time, not with any purpose, simply. If you sit alone for 3 days, no television, no book, no texting, simply by yourself, let's see what happens. You must know the nature of who you are. You should not go on dodging yourself and one day you will explode into something. You must know what is the level of madness you're suffering. When I say madness, if your mind is out of your control, is that called madness in definition? Hello? If your mind does not take instructions from you, it's out of control, is that called madness? Just try. Just today after this event, just go sit quietly in your room. Just see what all your mind does. You decide, don't tell anybody. You decide what is the level of madness you're going through. With this, if you enter the world, what will you create? You will only create who you are, isn't it? You cannot do anything other than what you are. What you are is what will happen to the world around you. Before you step out into the world, is it not important, at least you're this much equipped that you are not the problem. This can be easily done, very simple processes. If you invest on 20–30 minutes a day, you can bring this possibility into your life. It is just that it needs a certain orientation. Because life is continuously outward. To turn inward, it needs a certain help and situation has to be created to make that happen. We can't just live like this. We can't just continue to live like this, insulating our humanity and thinking everything is okay. It's time we have a living humanity, that our heart beats for everything, our heart bleeds for everything, and we will do the best we can do. In our lives, if we do not do what we cannot do, there's no problem. But if we do not do what we can do, we are a disastrous life, isn't it?